So welcome. This edition on Yojana talks about cooperatives. So we have few of the schemes that we have been discussing through. For example, Sahakar se Samriddhi. Now this has been one of the schemes to promote local entrepreneurs, to have regional development and to provide a holistic approach for credit mobilization in the remote areas and the agricultural areas. Now, what are the principles on which the concept of cooperatives are based? First is, it is voluntary. No one is forced to join it. It is open membership. There is community participation. That means every member of the cooperative would come together and participate, and this cooperative would have an autonomy and independence. Now, since it is driven by member, the organization is democratic and every member has an equal voting right. They are concerned with 4 P's and 3 E's, which is extremely important. People cooperating with people, production, profit, and profit with a purpose. The 3 E's is ease of living, ease of doing business, ease of cooperation, and ease of credit access. So these 4 P and 4 E's are really important when we talk about cooperatives. Now, primary agricultural cooperative societies have been given the concept of one drone, each with a PACS, which is the Primary Agricultural Credit Society. Now with this one drone being provided, the idea is to have enhancement in technology through which the agricultural production can be enhanced. Now computerization has been done. There have been bylaws which have been streamlined. The income sources have been improved because of these cooperatives. Now these cooperatives are not just in agriculture. Recently we have seen the Karla Machimar cooperative, which is one of its first kinds in fishery, has also come up, and similar cooperatives are also being given a way forward for allied options, for example fishery. Now what is a squad? Squad cooperation means S for self-reliance or being Atmanirbhar, Q for a good quality performance, U for a cooperative movement, A for accountability, and D for development through modern technology, and therefore it is called as a squad approach. Clear? Now what are the benefits which have been offered to cooperatives? Firstly, the surcharge on the income tax has reduced from 12% to 7%. The minimum alternate tax has come down from 18.5 to 15%. The cash limit or the cash deposits have been increased. The cash loans which can be given have been increased. There has been more tax relief on new productions, new manufacturing cooperatives. The tax deduction at source, which is the TDS, has actually increased the limit for withdrawal from 1 crore to 3 crores. Under section 269 of the IT Act, there has been clarification which is provided for the cooperative societies. Now, coming on to the most important of it is the cooperative sugar mills. Now, cooperative sugar mills are really important because these reduce the tax burden on the sugar mills. The long pending cases of the sugar mills cooperatives have now been resolved. There is a loan scheme through which grants and aids could be generated, and recognizing the members in the credit guarantee fund trust is again important. Now, the policy decisions, what do we need to focus on? As we said, the government has released a common e-marketplace. Now, this GEM, which is the electronic marketplace of the government, is an important sector. There are various things that we need to understand. First is the National Organics Cooperative, the Seed Cooperative, Export Cooperative, and there is a farmer cooperative in the name of NAFED, and this focuses on improving fertilizers through biofertilizers, CBG, then talking about the control of animal diseases, procurement of wheat and paddy under the public procurement system, organic farming to be promoted, and then maintaining the supply chain. Now supply chain would talk about good storage facilities, minimum waste, timely payment to the farmers, and efficient utilization of the resources. What have been the key factors which are involved? The key factors which are involved in the supply chain focus on data analytics, training, infrastructure, technology supported information, and then we focus on the supply chain procurement. So it talks about the technology, the cooperatives focusing on, as we said, the drones which can transform the agriculture, increase the GDP by creating new jobs, as identifying good areas for production and the possible crops. Then the challenges in the agriculture needs to be met. For example, the problems of soil erosion, lack of fertile soil, lack of irrigation, talking about salinity of the soil. So what has come up as a part of a primary agricultural credit society is one credit society, one drone. So one pack, one drone is the idea, and government would provide 75% of the cost of the drone when the credit society would be purchasing it. Also, the entrepreneurs who are associated with it, the net profit could be in the range of 5 to 6 lakhs. There have been various digitally enabled features which have been brought through machine learning, artificial intelligence, augmented reality and other sources. The spread and the outreach of the cooperatives is important. 12% of the population is part of at least one of the 3 cooperatives, and 50% of the agricultural output across the globe is marketed through cooperatives. India alone has nearly 8.5 lakh cooperatives, of which 20% are credit. The remaining ones are non-credit, which include dairy, fishery, hospital, tourism and so on. So this is a really important segment. Now coming on to fishery, as I said, it is a section which was not yet a part of cooperative, but there have been various training programs. For example, Fish Corp is a training center in Bhubaneswar, and this is a recognized fishery hub as Kaushalya Ganga, which is one of the programs where fishery cooperative movement has been given space. And similarly, as I said, the first organization was the Karla Machimar Cooperative in Maharashtra. Now, over the years of nearly 110 years, we have seen that this has increased significantly. There are various fisheries, fishermen who are part of the cooperative system. When we talk about Atmanirbhar Bharat, bringing in food security and agricultural support is one such idea. So cash for creation of the national cooperative food grid is another government motive, where every village must have one agricultural cooperative running, and that should manage its entire economic activity by itself. So village level cooperatives should have a machinery, a cattle management system which should be well off and well established. The next is Sahakar grams, the future. Now here we are talking about establishing cooperatives as villages. So village themselves would be running as cooperatives, but there are certain challenges. As we mentioned, supply chain and its management is one of the major challenges. How do we preserve the natural resources, any adverse climate change, any climate resilient crops that should be brought in a specific area, and to maintain harmony between the cooperative members are some of the important aspects. Now within the cooperatives itself, there are some entrepreneurs that come up and they actually help in management and leadership. Also there are various ministry wise and sector wise schemes. For example, in dairy, it is National Livestock Mission supporting dairy cooperatives, the Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund. Similarly, we do have cooperatives in fishery, handloom, health, specifically targeted for women, protecting environment, producers, tourism, and these actually the list would be available in the handout, so you can refer that, and these are a breakthrough and an important aspect that you must understand. Now these cooperatives must have an organizational structure with a clear purpose, that what is the role of every member, what is the objective, why this cooperative has been established, what is the structure, whether it is a credit, it is a non-credit, the asset ownership, whether it is common asset or jointly owned, the workers, consumers and community should be clearly demarcated. The governance, their annual meetings, how the decisions would be taken, what if the surplus is generated, who would get the funds from the surplus profit, the membership, how the various supplies would be maintained, the capital requirement for the same, and the feasibility. Now feasibility would include what? Marketing plan, operational plan, any kind of capital mobilizations would be part of it. The next is non-credit cooperatives. Now so far credit cooperatives were there and they had an objective of providing loans and incentives. However, non-credit cooperatives are heterogeneous because one size fits all cannot work for all sectors, and therefore this has to be directed to the idea it is meant for. So it could be for dairy, it could be for hospital, it could be for tourism, it could be for milk marketing, and so on. So the cooperative structure in India is governed under the Cooperative Society Act 1912, which is mutually aided cooperative thrift societies. Along with that, there is another act which is Multi-State Cooperative Society Act 2002. Now state cooperatives and the multi-state cooperatives are two types of cooperative structures in India, and they come under the state and the center. Then there are allied cooperatives, as we mentioned, for dairy, agriculture, banking, credit, and so on. Self-help groups are also part of it. So all of them needs to be converged, and Udyam portal is one such place where small enterprises, medium enterprises have registered together. There are more than 16,000 cooperatives who have come together with a common purpose. Awareness, training and mentoring for the same has been done. Bringing in better technology, better digitalization is one of the objectives. Now again, there have been centralized online real-time exchange based banking solutions. Now here what is the idea is anywhere, anytime banking that must be available, and bringing in enterprise resource planning or the ERP, which could bring in the internal audit, the administration, the delivery, is again really important. Now technology adoption for customer interface and service delivery. How do we look into it? So we have a chart here that talks about how the server windows would look. So there would be a EDCB switch and the DBT working together for having an account being opened, and this account would check out the various branch of the primary agricultural credit society, and then RBI would actually mandate through the NCPI about the developments and the guidelines. Diversification of cooperatives is again important. Usually a cooperative is established with one common objective, but there are 5 facets of strategic management which involve setting a goal, analyzing whether the goal is correct, a strategy to fulfill that goal, implementing that strategy, and finally monitoring it in the right direction. So what are the diversification products? So what are the diversifications of decisions of cooperatives? So these include product diversification, geographical diversification, services, horizontal integration, and joint ventures. The detailed process for each of those actually involve analyzing the cooperatives, their areas of diversification, the correct strategy, allocating the resources, and implementing of the strategy. So those were some of the key things that we have discussed in this session. If you have any questions or queries, feel free to post those in the comment section below. We'll be more than happy to take your queries forward, and the handouts for this would be available at Examrace current affairs section. Do follow. Thanks a lot.